Hey, creative people, welcome back to a all new season of the Creative Legacy Art Podcast. We are now in season two, and I am so excited to have the opportunity to be here with you because recently I was reminded that we are not promised these opportunities and abilities that we sometimes take for granted. I recently, I'll say on February the 7th, I had my first TIA. I was in the car driving my son home from music practice, and um, the car started veering over to the side of the road, closer to the right side of the road. And he asked me, "Why are you driving so close to the sidewalk?" And when I went to say, "I don't know, I feel it too," my voice changed and my words were slurry. They didn't come out in the correct way, and it was very confusing, and I was able to pull the car over in a very abrupt way. I didn't have a lot of control over my legs or my right hand. Um, I couldn't put in my code to the phone to open up the phone. He had to do that for me. And I just wanted to just take a minute because I didn't really understand what was going on. I was a little scared, but I just was more confused than anything. So after about maybe 10 to 15 minutes, all of the symptoms that I was experiencing, they went away, and I was able to drive myself home. But by the time we got back, the symptoms had returned, and um, I could not get out of the car and walk without his assistance. So once I got in the house, I eventually did call 911 after his persistent um, telling me to, because I'm one of those people who just felt like, well, it'll be okay. I'll get over it. There's nothing really wrong with me. But that turned out to be probably a life-saving move on his part for making me pretty much call 911, because once I got in the ambulance, they took my blood pressure. Um, I had stroke level blood pressure, and what I was experiencing was a TIA, which is a mini stroke. TIA stands for transient ischemic attack. So that's basically where you will experience stroke-like symptoms temporarily, and then they come and then they go and they come and then they go until you get treatment to lower your blood pressure to help with that flow of blood to your brain. So when I was in the hospital, I think they kept me overnight. They gave me some blood pressure medicine prescription, and blood thinner, aspirin, and a cholesterol medicine, and they released me. So at that period of time, I learned that my insurance had lapsed. But I did not know, or no one informed me, and I did not do the research to find out for myself that I needed to change my lifestyle. So I just went on back to my regular stressful work environment, my poor eating habits, and smoking cigarettes. I had started back smoking again because I was stressed. And, I ended up a couple of weeks later back in the hospital. So on March the 15th, it was actually my last day of vacation. And I was kind of dreading like having to go back to work because I didn't really feel rested. I was that morning, I had went out and got my hair done the day before that, or the week before that. I was at the park every day, walking on the walking trail. Like that's what I love to do. So I felt healthy. I felt okay. I just didn't feel rested. And so I fell asleep on Friday night. That was March the 15th. And I woke up abruptly in the middle of the night. It wasn't really that late. It was probably around like 7 or maybe 9 o'clock at night. I woke up and I literally could not sit up. I kept trying and trying to get up out of the bed, and I just kind of paused for a minute, and I thought about the other time what I had experienced in the car, and I tried to raise my right hand and I couldn't raise it. I tried to move my right leg, I couldn't move it. And I was sleeping on the right side of the bed. So it was just like a really hard time getting out of the bed. It took me, I'm not sure, maybe about two or three, maybe, I don't know, it took me it took me a minute to actually roll. I had to roll out of the bed. And when I rolled out, I fell on the floor and my phone was plugged up beside the bed, so I called 911 at that time. As I was on the phone with the 911 operator, the symptoms did begin to fade away. By the time the ambulance got to my house, I was able to walk again. So it's a weird feeling because, those symptoms where you literally cannot do anything, and they come and then they go, and by the time someone sees you, they're kind of like, are you sure you're sick? Are you sure, you need to go to the hospital? But, once they checked my blood pressure, they did see that it was elevated again. And this time, because I had already experienced this TIA, this TIA symptoms and things like that, they kept me for 5 days. And they did tests and MRIs and heart scans and everything. And so when they got it back, I was diagnosed with something called FMD, is the acronym, or yeah, it stands for fibromuscular dysplasia, which means that my blood vessels are basically irregularly shaped. The way they describe it is your blood vessels are supposed to be like a straw, where it's open, but mine are more, they're basically like a string of pearls where they are cinched in certain spaces. And so the blood flow isn't able to go smoothly through. And so that also causes high blood pressure. And the fact of having high blood pressure and eating, salty foods or smoking, that is just really something that does not work well. Your blood cells, or the platelets, get stuck on those little grooves, and that's what causes the blockage, and that's what makes you not be able to move your hand and your legs, or not be able to function properly. So I learned that about myself, and right now it's like I have to pretty much go through a full, um, pretty much a lifestyle change. Or I had to really make a lot of changes as far as like what I eat and drink, and what I not smoking, and not being under so much stress or taking too much on, and actually, having to ask for help, and that's something that I don't do well. So it's basically just learning how to do things in a different way. Um, During those times where I experienced the TIAs, I think it was like a total of 3 times I was hospitalized, and during those each episode, I probably had about 3 each time. And so during those times where I had those episodes, I experienced what it felt like to be pretty much completely paralyzed on one side of your body, on my right side of my body. So that meant I couldn't use my hand, I couldn't raise my arm, couldn't raise my leg, I couldn't talk in a way where the other people could understand me. I was fully aware and alert of everything that was going on, but it was basically when I tried to speak, the words wouldn't come out. When I would try to, the sounds would come out, but they weren't understandable to other people. When I tried to walk, I couldn't walk. Or if I could walk, it would be with a limp and very unstable, and I would need assistance. Um, it was just a very scary time. And so, I didn't expect anything like that to ever happen to me. I didn't expect to have anything wrong with my blood vessels. No one had ever told me, that that was a problem for me, until it was a problem for me. And so it was just like, I felt like this was important to share, because it's something that's real, it's something that's really going on with me. I'm sure that other people have, had things in their lives, medical problems where, they weren't expecting, or maybe there's people, who's watching me who know that, they're doing things to their bodies that is not healthy. And, this is just a gentle reminder, to be kind to yourself, to be kind to your body, to, treat yourself gently, treat yourself the right way, because we take so much for granted. And I woke up, and sometimes still, it's been a couple of, right, today is April the 10th. And to this day, I have not slept in my bed. I've been feeling very traumatized because the last times that I've slept in my bed, the two last times I slept in my bed, I could not get out of it. It was just, yeah, I didn't, wasn't a pleasant awakening, put it that way. Um, so I wake up in the morning and I check to see, can I use my hands? Can I use my leg? Can I move? Can I talk? I do that every day because it's just out of a habit to say, I wake up with this ability, that I wake up the same way that I went to sleep. And I thank God every night, every morning when I wake up and I can. And so thinking about that and thinking about, just taking something as small as doing this podcast for granted. And I was just like, yeah, if I had the main, if I had a real stroke, then I would not even be able to finish this project that that I started and I wanted to complete and that I felt so passionate about. I wouldn't be able to paint, which I have pretty much taken a long, long hiatus from, and so there's so many things that I use my hands and my legs and my body, and I wouldn't be able to do basic things that I take for granted or that I have taken for granted. So I felt like it was important to share because I'm sure we all do that. We all have been guilty of not using our abilities or not being fully aware of how blessed we are to be able to do the things that we do every day. So I just wanted to use this episode as a reminder to myself um, that I am more serious and more intentional about how I use my time here and how I use my energy and my body in ways that are going to help me and fulfill the things that I feel like are important to me. And so, with that being said, I just don't take any of this for granted. I thank everyone who participates and who has supported me in this journey so far. Um, Even now, after having those episodes, I know that I did not come out of that completely 100% the same as I went into it. Sometimes I still am not able to fully get words out. Sometimes I forget, certain things that I'm trying to do or remembering what I'm want to say. So I don't know if that's part of it, but sometimes I still have some tingling in my right hand. Sometimes I'm not able to do fine motor skills like buttons and stuff as fast or as easy as I did.